Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So another part of the creepy movie theme that I want to go with is looking at movies that are going to come out this year in theaters and watching the trailers for those and kind of reacting to them in real time, and then kind of also talking about if I actually want to go see them, and then if I do go see them, I'll probably make another video saying what I think of those. So the first one that I'm going to watch here is Fantasy Island, which came out on Valentine's Day. And I haven't seen any trailers for this one, but I have seen when I'm watching different YouTube videos and stuff, like the 10-second teaser ad that comes up. I don't know a whole heck of a lot about it. So we'll watch the trailer, and we're planning on going to see this one this afternoon, so hopefully I'll get another video up soon about that. From the teaser trailers, to me it seems more of like a thriller, psychological thriller type movie, but when I was reading about it on the theater's website that I'm going to this afternoon, it has the genre listed as adventure, comedy, and fantasy, which, I mean, unless I know what I know about this movie is completely wrong, those are not the categories that I would put it in. So it's a little bit weird there. But then when you look at the rating, it says it's PG-13 for violence, terror, drug content, suggestive material, and brief, strong language. And again, comparing the genres that it's listed at as to the rating that it's given, it doesn't quite match up. And then also just looking at the photo for Fantasy Island, obviously it's taking place on an island, and the shape of the island literally looks like a face that's got its mouth open and like screaming, almost it's got a hashtag there. I can't make that never coming home, I think is what it says, and there's a plane on it. So yeah, that kind of makes sense with the teaser that I've seen. So I just want to go ahead and watch the clip here and see what we think.
I hope you're ready.
Lucy
There is an
Hale.
elevator. In the elevator, you press the button to the floor with no name.
Snake Hill.
Behind those doors, there's a life you always dreamt of.
Blumehouse makes good movies. Yeah, they did Get Out, and that was...
The plane.
Dang, that's a pretty
It's
house.
here. This weekend, you will be our guests.
Here, anything and everything is possible.
No service.
Awesome.
Not everything is possible.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Rurik. Let me officially welcome you to Fantasy Island.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm curious how this all works.
What if your fantasy involves a person from your life?
Holograms. Like Tupac.
What if it's somebody who died?
Tupac.
So, what's your fantasy?
Revenge on a childhood bully.
Your life is about to change. I hope you're ready.
She looks familiar.
That is a really good hologram.
There is only one fantasy per guest. And you must see your fantasy through,
It brought her back to life.
no matter what.
Oh my God. That's really her.
Rourke,
Ew.
this is not what I meant.
What the hell is this place?
People die here.
The island's twisting what we asked for.
Ugh.
We weren't brought here to have our own fantasies.
I want it, I got it. I want it,
We were brought here to be a part of something else.
I got it. I want it, I got it.
I'm your friend.
I've always wanted to hear you say that.
Whoop. never coming home. Interesting. So did they know that when they went to this island that their fantasies would come true? Like they could do those, or were they just expecting a vacation? This kind of has like hostel vibes. I don't know if you guys ever watched that one. It's like people backpacking in Europe and then they go stay in a hostel and like get tortured. But that scene where she's trying to get revenge on her childhood friend gave me hostel vibes. It's also kind of like giving me Cabin in the Woods a feeling there too. Because, you know, like all this weird stuff keeps happening to this group of friends in the cabin, and it turns out they're literally part of like a game. And there's people controlling it the whole time. And this gives me that kind of feeling as well. I don't know, the trailer was pretty good. I'd like to go see it. I kind of want to watch it again, though. A lot of these characters look very familiar. I know Lucy Hale for sure. She was in she was in Pretty Little Liars. I'm gonna watch the trailer again. Yeah, it's very much like torture porn. I don't know. It looks good. It looks decent. I think it's got one of those storylines that's been done before, though. I honestly also don't know if this is a remake. Yeah, I don't know if it is. So, I'm curious about it. I'll go see it. And I will let you know how it is.
We're literally the only ones in the theater. I don't think this is a good sign. What seats are we?
11 and 12.
11, 12. Dibs on 12. Literally the only people in here.
All right, so we just got back from the movie theater seeing Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. It was an interesting experience. So we went on a Friday night. The showing was at 3:55, 4:55, basically 5 o'clock. And we were literally the only people in the movie theater. So that right there kind of set off an awkward tone for it, because it made me feel like, wow, this has to be a crappy movie if literally we are the only people in the theater. And it was kind of like, the theater that we go to has several screens, like most theaters do. And the one that we were in was one of the smaller ones as well. So this movie literally came out on Valentine's Day. It has been out for a week, exactly a week, and it's in the smaller theater. We were the only two people in there. So, yeah, it just started off on a weird tone. Overall, though, I think this movie, on a scale of 1 to 5, was probably a 3.5. It was fairly good. The ending was really good. And to be fair, I know that I like horror movies and like scary movies. And this one was more of a psychological thriller, I think, in my opinion. Like, there's some comedic aspects to it as well. But I think for the most part, it's a psychological thriller.
Would you call it a fantasy?
Go away. So I think a 3.5. It was kind of slow to start. In about the last 25 minutes or so of the movie, things really picked up. There was the resolution, there was the big twist in that. So, they had to wrap up the movie. And massive spoiler alerts here. If you have not seen the movie, probably want to hit pause and go watch it before continuing with the video. The movie starts off with, there was the two brothers, the two chicks, and then the other dude. 5 people are flown to this island because they won a contest, and it's the Fantasy Island. Guess what? What a surprise! That's the name of the movie. So, no duh, they're going to Fantasy Island. So they're greeted there, and they're each taken to their rooms. We find out that two of them are brothers. The stepbrothers. They're stepbrothers. And one of them is Asian, and the other one is white. And the person who played that brother, horrible actor. I don't know who it was, and I don't know if the character was just supposed to be like that, but it just, like, it felt so awkward and cringy, and it was just like, well, what? Like,
Sure was supposed to be that.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. And it was just like, there was one part in the movie where the guy's literally getting his hand cut off, and he's like, oh God, my hand. And then, like, as soon as they take it away, he's like, nothing ever happened. Like, he forgot that he was getting his hand cut off. So, bad acting there. I also noticed another mistake in the movie. When they get off of the plane, they're all given leis, and they're, like, really nice leis too. They're nice. And then when Lucy Hale's character gets to her room at the island, the lei that she takes off is like a crappy POS one. It's like a cheap version. And I'm like, but you were literally just given a really nice lei. What happened here?
I would really like a nice lei.
So anyway, these 5 people, the strangers, all of them except for obviously the brothers, get to the island because they've won this competition. And so when they won the competition, they had to fill out like this questionnaire talking about what are their fantasies. And they get to the island, and Mr. Rourke, the person in charge of the island, is like, you know, these are the rules. You've got... Everybody has a fantasy. Everybody's allowed one fantasy. And you have to see it through to the natural end. And yeah, those are the only rules. So the brothers start their fantasy right away that same night when they get to the island. And they go, and it's like this big house party with a bunch of hot people, hot women, hot men. And the one brother... like, is automatically just into the crowd, and then he's like, oh, don't worry, to his Asian stepbrother, well, I got stuff for you too. And it's these guys, and then they open up the curtains, and there's a bunch of bongs and pot, and it's fantastic. That part was funny. So earlier when I was saying that this movie was under the comedy genre, there were some funny parts. Yeah, there were. And that was one of them. So anyway, they're partying it up. The rest of the people have to go to sleep because their fantasies start in the morning. So Lucy Hale's character, she wants revenge on a high school bully. The other guy always wanted to be in the military, but he didn't, and he ended up being a cop instead. And we come to find out that his dad was in the military and was killed while serving overseas. And that was kind of the motivation for him wanting to join. And then the third chick said that she wanted to go back and right a decision that she had made incorrectly. And apparently the guy that she was seeing proposed to her on their 1-year anniversary, and she said no, and she regretted it. So they went back. She said yes, had a kid, and like 5 years passed. 5 years passed. It literally happened overnight. And then she has all these regrets again, and she's like, that wasn't the one that I should have chosen, and there was this fire in my apartment, and I could have saved somebody, and I didn't. And yeah, this is where it starts to get interesting, because she goes back and convinces the Fantasy Island people to let her change her fantasy and go back to when her apartment started on fire and try and save the guy. So she goes back in there, and we're replaying the day of events, and it turns out that the 2 brothers live in the same apartment as her. When she gets outside to try and get help to save the guy, the cop that she talks to is the same cop that's on the island with them. So, like, whew, everybody's connected. She still didn't save the guy. And we're going through the island, doing all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's fantasies are just like... But once you figure out that everybody's fantasies are intertwined, find out that they're not actually reliving in their own fantasy. Like, each person isn't doing their own fantasy. They're all playing into one person's fantasy. So anyway, they figure this out. They convince the dude who's running the island to help them. Yeah. But the twist at the end, I want to talk about it. But I don't want to give it away. So, the twist at the end. Lucy Hale's character.
What's the character's name?
Meredith. I think. I don't know. She's the chick with the short, like, bob haircut. She's cute. She's got, like, she's wearing a red shirt, something. Whatever. So, come to find out that the person whose fantasy they're playing is Lucy Hale's character's Meredith. And she brought them all to this island to get revenge on them because the person who died in the fire was her boyfriend. And she blames everybody for him dying. Huh?
They only went on one date.
Yeah, that's another...
They didn't even go on a date. She was crazy. Crazy.
I'm getting there. Bitches be cray. But anyway, so she wants revenge on all these people because she thinks that they could have prevented his death. But the more we learn about this character, the more we figure out that she's cray-cray. Because she and this guy literally just like started, I don't know how they met, I don't remember. But they started talking and they had agreed to go on their first ever date. And that night of the fire was supposed to be their first date. Yeah. So she wanted revenge on all these people for not saving the guy who she literally hadn't even been on a date with yet. So, cray. I don't know. There were different aspects of the movie, like you had to drink the water in order to have a fantasy. I don't know. That part was weird. I don't know. I was not expecting the twist at the end. Even Daniel, and I touched on it in my first video about scary movies, about how he always predicts the ending to movies. And he did not guess this one, which was cool. I thought it was cool. And then a few people may have died in the movie and not left the island. Overall, it was a good movie. I thought I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a quick movie. I didn't feel bored while I was sitting in the theater thinking like, oh my God, how long has this been going on? It was good. There were enough moving parts that it went fast and it was enjoyable. And then the twist and bing, bang, boom, pow, fiend. I would recommend going to see this movie. I thought it was good. Yeah, my only red flags were that we were the only ones in the theater, and it was in a small theater, and it's only been out for a week. I am curious kind of how much money this movie has made. But overall, a solid movie. I mean, 3.5 out of 5. It's good. Will I buy it when it comes to DVD, though? Probably not right away, but maybe on Black Friday. Because, obviously, I can't say no to movies.